Tor is the most widely deployed anonymity network and arguably one of the most important internet freedom projects today. Tor was born in 2004, forming the Tor project in 2006 as a US non-profit organization. The Tor project is an umbrella organization around a number of important projects, such as the Tor browser that we'll talk about later, Orbot for Android, the operating system Tails, and Uni for observing censorship events. At the heart of Tor is the Tor network, volunteers operating about 6,000 relays and 2,000 bridges. The network consumes about 40 to 50 gigabits per second of bandwidth. You can tunnel any TCP/IP traffic over Tor, since the network service acts as a SOCKS proxy. Noteworthy is that Tor is designed to be a low latency anonymity network, without using a lot of extra bandwidth either for that matter. This design decision makes Tor usable for anonymous web browsing, arguably its most important use case. Further, Tor supports what's called onion services, giving the ability to host services anonymously to the network. An onion service can also be run in a mode called a single onion service, a relatively new feature that gives strong end-to-end security. Finally, Tor is also widely used to circumvent censorship. We're going to focus on each of these 4 use cases and briefly on how they work. What most people associate with Tor is the ability to browse the regular web anonymously. The Tor browser comes bundled with a web browser based on Firefox and the Tor network service. When you enter a URL in Tor browser, for example to cow.se, Tor creates a circuit through the Tor network by connecting to 3 somewhat randomly selected relays out of the 6,000 running relays today. The relays are called a guard relay, a middle relay, and an exit relay. From the exit relay, a connection is made to cow.se. If you look at the figure to the left, you can see Tor browser in action, connected to cow.se. The first relay in the Tor circuit, shown in the top of a Tor browser, is a relay in France. This is the guard relay. It's called a guard because it guards your identity in a sense. Therefore, the guard relay doesn't change often, if you make a habit out of looking up in Tor browser as you browse. Tor builds a secure channel to the guard, using a protocol with similar properties as TLS. Next, we instruct the guard to extend the circuit to a randomly chosen middle relay, this time in Canada. Using a key exchange protocol, we establish another secure channel to the middle relay within the other secure channel, preventing the guard from reading the contents. From the middle to the exit relay, we do the same thing, and end up picking randomly a relay in the US this time. This creates 3 layers of encryption, like a telescope, from the browser all the way to the exit relay. The exit relay is called the exit because it's where the traffic exits the Tor network out on the regular internet. Finally, the exit relay connects to cow.se for us, and we build a secure channel using HTTPS that's end-to-end encrypted, wrapped within several layers of encryption as part of the 3-hop circuit to the Tor network. The exit knows the website you connected to, but only the identity of the middle relay. The middle relay only knows the identity of the guard and the exit, while the guard only knows your identity and the middle relay. As long as only up to 1 out of the 3 relays are compromised, you're more or less okay. If both the guard and the exit are compromised, however, Tor cannot defend you. This shows the adversary model of Tor. Partial compromise of the network and circuit are protected against, but a passive attacker that sees or controls a significant part of the network may de-anonymize you. Another important use case are so-called onion services, which used to be called hidden services. Onion services are services, such as a web server, provided over the Tor network using a .onion address generated by Tor for the service. To make a slightly longer story short, the same principle as for anonymous browsing is used, but twice. First, the client builds a Tor circuit over 3 hops as before, telescoping to build an encrypted end-to-end channel from the client to a rendezvous point. At the rendezvous point, the onion service, in this case an onion service provided by Facebook, has also built a circuit. This way you get a 6-hop connection over the Tor network from the client to the server. The locations of both the server and the client are protected, and the connection is end-to-end encrypted and self-authenticating due to the onion address being a self-authenticating cryptographic public key. This brings us to another form of onion service, a single onion service. The single onion service, like a regular onion service, uses a .onion address, but only 3 hops instead of 6 to connect a client and a server. This removes all anonymity from the onion service, but the service is still self-authenticated using the onion address, fully end-to-end encrypted, can punch through NATs, and provides a limited attack surface of the service. Further, since it's end-to-end encrypted and self-authenticated, we're immune to the mess that is the certificate authority ecosystem we talked about in an earlier lecture. This is a compelling option for services whose locations are not particularly private, like Facebook's, and it caters to especially vulnerable internet users that may need to use Tor to safely access services like Facebook. The fourth and final use case of Tor is something it was not initially designed for: censorship circumvention. As we noted before, when browsing to Tor, traffic exits from the exit node out to the regular internet. Since the exit node is selected at random, you end up accessing the internet from all over the world where there are exit relays. This bypasses many forms of censorship, especially on a national level. Because of this, censors have started to block access to Tor, for example in China and sporadically in Iran and Turkey, for example. As a response, the community has developed what's called pluggable transports, technologies that make it significantly harder to block Tor without collateral damage. One design approach is the use of so-called bridges, secret relays into the Tor network that are hard for sensors to detect. A compelling term to describe some form of pluggable transports is collateral freedom. By allowing, for example, the use of big cloud providers like Amazon or Google, sensors inadvertently allow users to access Tor and therefore the free internet. This is very much a cat and mouse game though, between sensors and the community designing pluggable transports. Currently, some of the more popular pluggable transports are named Obfuscation Proxy 4 and Meek, with the addition of Snowflake recently. At its heart, the Tor project is an active community working on empowering users on the internet today using technologies. The Tor network is a low-latency anonymity network made up of about 6,000 relays and 2,000 bridges run by volunteers. Karlstad University has run a relay for many years. Tor, the anonymity network, has 4 major use cases right now: anonymous browsing for browsing the regular internet anonymously, onion services for hosting services anonymously, single onion services for offering stronger protections for users, and censorship circumvention. Tor cannot protect you against really powerful adversaries, like a global passive adversary. The gist of it is that if the consequences of getting de-anonymized for you are catastrophic, like for example you might get tortured or killed, then it's maybe not a great idea to use Tor or rely on Tor only. That said, a big problem right now is that there are no better options if you insist on using the internet today. There's so much snake oil in the area, and people that don't know what they're doing claiming things that they cannot nearly deliver. The community has spent a long time polishing on Tor, and nothing in the anonymity space comes even close in practice today. Perhaps we'll see deployments of mixnets in the future, but until then, from a technical point of view, nothing simply put beats Tor. Knowing its limitation though, as always, OPSEC is king.